What do you think prompted a current 80s nostalgia within popular music?
70s and 80s, there seemed to be a lot more to say. There was a lot more. It was from the heart and soul, and there seems to be people seem to be starved for that. The last at least 15 to 20 years, you've had a lot of formula kind of music and stuff. You know, pop stuff. It's a lot of it is a formula type thing, with the understanding of the way the brain works and the human psyche works and stuff like that. Music companies and pretty much everything that sells anything out there has realized that repetition in a certain format causes people to remember and act and this and that, and you back it next to something where they might, you know, inflame some kind of emotion, you know, be it fear or doubt or anger or whatever, and they go out and spend money. But it doesn't last. I mean, when was the last album, or what was the last album you can say, you know, I bought this, I've memorized the whole thing, loved it, the message was good, and I'm hanging on to that.
Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction.
Well, there you go. So that's going back a ways. That's 20 years plus. But it's the same thing with a lot of people, myself included. I think one of the reasons this appeals to me so much is, number one, the big fat harmonies, because where I grew up in the South, I grew up with gospel and country and you know, blues and jazz and stuff like that. And I love the big fat harmonies. I mean, I love an a cappella choir. Like when I was growing up, and we had like a lot of like your black choirs and stuff. And you could drive down the road on a Sunday morning, and you hear it when you drive by. And my dad we would always like stop sometimes on the side of the road and just listen with the windows down. They're coming out these small country churches, and that gets in your bones and your very soul. And I'm pretty sure that's a big reason of why I like it so much with the harmonies, because there is that big group of people contributing towards a common goal that actually works and it resonates. But it's the same way, I think, with a lot of the musos out there, and especially the audiences. They're tired of all the stuff that's just kind of like plastic fruit.
Now let's go back a bit differently from a typical cliched rock star, usually a high school dropout. You went on to study dance and complete a doctorate. What was the impact of your studies on your artistic life? Was there any?
Yes. Sure answer, yes.
Study.
I mean, they call it life for a reason. It's to be lived.
Yeah.
The way that our brains are set up, the more connections you have in there from any aspect of life, the better it runs. The life that I've lived, I couldn't wait to get out of the house when I was a kid. I mean, not that I was running away from anything. I had a great family. I loved my parents, and you know, we had a ball. But I was running to something. There's a big world out there, and I wanted to see and experience as much of it as I could possibly, you know, fathom and stuff. And like the time I was 18, when I went to uni and stuff, I really haven't been back since. It was like, you know, I got to learn about, you know, people and myself and living on my own and stuff at uni, and learning and how to budget my time and how to, you know, remember things that you could answer people's question on a test that gives you hopefully a degree. But I've always wanted to just see the world and experience as much as possible. I mean, I've worked for cruise lines and stuff. I've been entertained in 70 different countries and stuff. And meeting the people there, the best lesson of all, no matter where you go, no matter how different it is, the fact that every single person out there is exactly the same. And to see that and experience it firsthand, you know, different customs, different, you know, languages, different, you know, beliefs and all that, but the people are exactly the same hopes and fears. And I think if more people realize that, they'll have a lot fewer problems out there, because it takes the same amount of energy to shake a hand as it does to make a fist. But everything I've experienced colors every aspect of who I am and what I write and the way that we perform everything. So I guess if I had some advice to give anybody, go out there and experience as many different things as you can, even if it's like basket weaving, you know, with the you know, Navajo Indians or something like that, or going to Bangladesh and, you know, helping, you know, things, or, you know, taking a course at a community college or something that's completely unrelated, but it opens up different parts of your mind, which gets your whole psychological thing working differently, which colors in, maybe not obviously to you, but it colors everything you do. And it just makes it that much richer and stuff. And plus, you know, the more we use our brains, the more that we're alive. You don't use it, you lose it, and that's very true.
Most reviewers compare your voice to this of David Coverdale, Paul Shortino, Paul Rogers, David Reese. The question is, who's the guiding light for you in terms of singing?
Well, anybody who says that about my voice, I just have to always wonder and kind of cringe, like, somebody's going to bust me on this. Somebody said I sounded like the big boys, because those are the idols. They still are, they are the influences. You say, man, someday I'd love to be able to do even, that much of what, like, Coverdale does, or what, Ian Gillian does, or what, Paul Rogers does, because they are massive, beautiful, awesome, emotional voices. And I guess that's the thing I look at in any artist I go to see. Every artist I've ever seen, no matter how good or bad, has influenced me, because I'll take something positive away, even if it's what not to do. And I've seen myself on video, and I'll probably be looking at a lot of this going, what not to do before I cut this up. I sit here and act like a talking head. But now, anybody who has compared that, I'm honored. I'm touched. In my mind, as far as our band goes, I'll say, yeah, we could open for those guys. We could be in the same arena with them and have a good time and put something across that's as worthwhile as what they do. And hopefully they would think that as well, and the audience would. But as far as comparing myself to the greats, I don't think I'd compare myself to anybody just from the humility point of view. And these guys have done it, and they're, gods, so to speak, and I'm not. In fact, we've got a new song on the new album coming up which describes just that, which shall remain nameless right now, but there is one that actually sums up that very point. But no, it's, I try to just be myself. My voice, my whole life has always been, I've been at the wrong place at the wrong time my whole life until recently, until I met it with this band. When I was a young kid, my voice was too high to sing certain parts in my granddad's church choir. When I started singing country and stuff, my voice didn't have the passion or the color or the polish to be a soloist. So I was, doing harmonies, which I enjoy doing. But sometimes you'd like to stand out front. In doing country shows and stuff, they say you're not country enough. When I was doing Broadway shows or musical theater shows, they said, you're too country. So, and then when I got to Vegas and everything, I was completely wrong vocally for everything, because everything is, the leading man thing, and I wasn't that. So, and even with my the first album with From Both Sides, it was my first attempt to actually try to be myself, or to let my own colors shine through. But still, that was country rock, and that's where I was from. That was kind of like the roots. But the wings have only come with this particular band and this group of artists, because we've actually kind of written from our own fortes, which are all kind of, as I said at the beginning, kind of coming together like this to make our own sound. So I guess I would consider myself successful if somebody was to listen to the radio and hear one of our songs and say, oh, that's Jac Dalton. I know that guy's voice anywhere. Now the good thing is this new album we're coming out with. It's called Can't Unrock Me. This is entirely our band. On Icarus, most of that was our band members, but we didn't have our drummer or our bass player in that. And it makes a big difference between what we've got now and the Icarus album. Icarus we did at Ardent Studios in Memphis with John Hampton, who's one of the best engineers and producers anywhere in the U.S. He's got 4 Grammys. When we took it over there, he loved it. And to get that kind of endorsement from somebody who has worked with all the greats, I mean, he's worked with the Beatles, Zeppelin, ZZ Top, Leonard Skinner, James Brown, James Taylor, all these guys. For him to say, you know what you guys have is something special and it works, we know we're on the right track. So,
anything left to say about Icarus?
The Icarus album has been very well accepted globally. There's certain songs that have done very well. The video we just released for Your Love is available here on YouTube, and just look under Jac Dalton official For Your Love video, and it's there. We actually did that in a story. It's like a 4-minute movie type thing, but that's gotten a lot of attention. The main thing we're looking for with what Icarus started was our opportunity to get together and put something together that was pretty much where we are at this point in our lives.
Describe your band to me, each member in turn, in one sentence, short and sweet.
That's a tough one. Well, I'll start with Anamika. We call her Dragon Lady. I'd have to say if you've seen those like gladiator movies where they have like the females that are just, you know, they kind of, you know, beat most of the guys' butts and stuff like that, and they're just strong and they're, you know, respected and they're well liked and all. That's I'd have to say, if I had to describe Anna Meek, it would be kind of like that. She's one of those female gladiators that's just like, you know, so sure of herself and stuff that that's how she is. Donna, I would have to say, if I was to look at a skyline of somewhere like Paris, Donna vocally and as a person would have to be like the Eiffel Tower, poking right up there, because surrounded by this amazing stuff, but she still stands out amidst the absolute most exceptional things there. Graham, the guy's, they call him shaman for a reason. He's possessed. He hears things from in a way that nobody else can. It just, I think from where the way he was raised around a lot of Aboriginals when he was a kid. I think a lot of that spirit and stuff is in him in a way that you'd never understand. But he gets his information, his inspiration, and everything from an entirely different place than most of us even know exists. Troy, drummer extraordinaire. He reminds me of, you see these like lumberjack things where they take these axes and they have to like, you know, cut this massive log in like the fewest amount of strokes. Everyone has got to be spot on and strong and hard and is, you know, absolute max we can out of each stroke. I'd have to call him a lumberjack. Jim, Mr. Quiet. He's it's funny, they every time they've interviewed the Beatles, they said that the most unsuspecting one was Ringo. He was the jokester of the bunch. Jim's definitely that, but as far as his playing goes, there's these kind of paintings you see that are like massively intricate. They you see them and you go, oh, it's beautiful and stuff, but if you focus in a certain way, this image comes out and you actually see it. It could be like a, you know, leaping tiger or, you know, like an F-18 or whatever. But you have to have it focused exactly right, but the intricacy is amazing. I'd have to say Jim is very much that way because he is so intricate in so many ways that when it comes together, or whatever way he wants to balance that, that would describe him. Jason, there's a lot of heat and passion within this band, to the point that it's just, you could easily see why, you know, certain things would combust out in the outback, why gum trees explode, just because there's so much pressure and and things inside. And Jason's kind of like, I guess, the calming effect of that with his keyboards and stuff. He's a fireman, but yet he provides the cool to balance a lot of the stuff. As for myself, I just have to say I'm the luckiest guy in the world. But I guess I'm the guy that can stand out front and hopefully make sense of what we do and who we are to the people out in front and stuff, and hopefully my own experiences and maybe I guess the size of my heart would be something that is, I guess, a focus, maybe even a rallying point for the people watching us and those of us on the stage. So I guess I had to call myself maybe a bit of a catalyst. But you know, don't ever try to take these guys away from me, his friends or otherwise. Our producer, Darren, it was funny, I was standing on a balcony earlier in this interview looking out, and there was this massive event going on about 18 floors below us. Darren could look at that and not only make sense out of all of it, but arrange everything exactly where it needed to be so that it was something absolutely amazing. And he could do it all in, you know, 5 different things at once. He's the only guy I know who can multitask. He's amazing. And Zoran, our video Jude extraordinaire, he has the most amazing abilities and vision and drive that I've ever seen. Anything he needs to know, he knows exactly where to go for it and get it. But yet, where he comes from, in Serbia, the passion he has for everything he does. Oh, I'll sum it up this way. Michelangelo once said about his statue of some angels, he said, I saw angels in the marble and carved and chipped away until I set them free. That would be Zoran. So this is all our group of contributors and stuff. And as I said, I'm completely humbled always just to be part of it. So.